I've never asked this question, and I don't even know if you're going to have an answer for me or not, but I just want to ask it anyways.
Mhm.
What do you think about ETs, and are they involved in any of the subjects that you talk about?
Before you enjoy the video, if you want to purchase some of my never before released meditations, click on the pinned comment below. ETs, all of us have had many lifetimes as an extraterrestrial. Okay. They're just another way that we evolve ourselves, that the higher self evolves itself by projecting itself into the suit of an extraterrestrial. Now, there were about 3 months to maybe 4 months of my life, Jeff, that all I did every day was meditate for hours and hours and hours in communication with extraterrestrials. That's all I did, literally every day, all day for like 3 or 4 months. Because at a point, and this was years and years ago, but at a certain point, I was very, very interested in understanding this because I've always been aware that they exist. I've always been aware that they're all over the place. And it's like, well, I'm just going to find out for myself. I'm just going to directly interact. And I cataloged about 170, 178 or 179 different species that I would interact with and speak with. Now, my ultimate takeaway, fast forward to the end of that, my ultimate takeaway, Jeff, was that these are aspects just like us. It's all one multidimensional self. It's all one multidimensional self. So these are aspects of ourself that, for the most part, are having a physical experience in a slightly higher, or sometimes significantly higher frequency. So therefore, many of them are operating with a far greater understanding of themselves and a far greater understanding of their greater reality. So in that sense, they're operating in a more advanced way. Now, if they're incarnate, odds are, this was my experience, odds are they are not self-realized. They are also on their journey to self-realization or self-mastery. Now, most of the interactions, really all of the interactions that I had, were really based upon them asking me questions. They were fascinated at how I could do what I was doing, how I could raise my frequency, change the electromagnetic frequency of my brain, and go into these different frequencies and realities, and therefore interact with them. They were most curious with how I could do it because they wanted to do it. But what I began to realize after a while is that while they're still operating with belief systems, just less, they're still operating with so-called knowledge, just different. So it's just another version of the way that we're operating. And again, it began to dawn on me that I'm just answering questions, which is what I do for humanity. And I incarnated as a human so I could help be a teacher uh, for humanity, not spending my time doing that with extraterrestrials. So after a while, I know as strange as it sounds, I just got bored and I just stopped doing it. But they're very curious. The overwhelming majority of them are what we would call, I'll use the word benevolent. There's nasty ones out there. Of course there is. I mean, if you go talk to 10 people, you'll meet a lot of good people. You'll meet one or two, you're like, ew, no thanks. So extraterrestrials, it works the same way, but they are not all enlightened. In fact, they're not. They're working the same way we are, just in a different way, which was the most fascinating part. And the systems in which they adhere to, I found fascinating. There was not this liberation of consciousness. So I just, after a while, I was like, I'm not that interested anymore. And I just stopped doing it. But there was a time, Jeff, I was very interested in it. It's all I did all day long. I enjoy working with humans far more. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you are desirous of more of the real you and less of your conditioned, agitated mind, if you know that you can create a life that you're not leading right now, but you know you can, check out my meditation masterclass. It's pinned in the comments below.